Today, we're going to can teriyaki chicken. Doesn't that look great? I can't wait to taste it. So this is another recipe from Pressure Canning for Beginners and Beyond by Angie Schneider. And if you follow my channel, you know I really, really like this book. It has a lot of great recipes that you don't find elsewhere. If you're interested in buying it, I have a link below. Now, I was curious. I've made chicken teriyaki. I've eaten chicken teriyaki, but I didn't know what teriyaki meant, so I looked it up. So the teri means luster, and the yaki is short for meaning grilled or broiled, because a teriyaki sauce often has a really pretty lustering gleam on it. It's shiny. Now, interestingly, it became popular in the United States in the 1960s when a lot of Japanese people were settling in Hawaii, and they used local products to make their teriyaki sauce, such as pineapple juice and soy sauce and brown sugar, which I have used that before too, and that does make a great sauce. But the sauce in this recipe is a little different. Hi, I'm Potpourri, and I have been making canning, cooking, prepping, gardening, and you name it videos for over a decade on YouTube. And I hope this video inspires you to can and fill your pantry shelves with wonderful jars of goodness. Now, this recipe must be pressure canned, not water bath canned. If you're new to pressure canning, watch this video. So before we start prepping our ingredients, let's prepare our jars. If you're making quarts, you need 3-quart jars, but I'm making pints because that is great for a meal for my husband and I. So you need 6-pint jars. You're going to want to add water according to your canning instructions, what level of water you need. I always put in some white vinegar because I have hard water and it can leave that cloudy film on my jars. But if you got city water, you don't need any. Place your jars in your canner. We just want to preheat them because you always want to put something hot in a hot jar. So I looked, but I couldn't find chicken breasts on sale anywhere. So this is the boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and I got them for $2.68 a pound, which nowadays, not too bad. Now this package that I bought has more than 5 pounds of chicken, so let's weigh it to make sure we only have 5 pounds to use for this recipe. No, we only need 5 pounds. 2.5 there. 3, 4. Take out this one. Okay, so I'll just cut a little bit off this, and then we'll have the 5 pounds. So we have just about exactly 5 pounds. Now this is the only, actually, and it's not difficult, but part of making this recipe is you're going to have to cut all this up into 1-inch chunks. And when you see a piece like this has got, let's see here. I always cut this little piece off right here. Yeah, we don't need that little fatty part, so cut that off. So you can use your knife, or if you have a good pair of kitchen shears, that works well too. Whatever works the easiest for you, but you got to get all this cut into inch chunks. Be back. So for our ingredients, we are going to want the 5 pounds chicken diced up in 1-inch sizes. And we're going to need a cup over there of soy sauce, 1/4 a cup of rice vinegar right here, 6 tablespoons of honey, 4 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil. Well, I don't have toasted, but I do have pure sesame oil, and 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. This recipe uses mirin, and you can find it in the Asian section of your grocery store. It's a sweeter rice wine than sake, but if you don't have it, you can use white wine, but I would add a little extra sweetener then. And we're going to want 6 tablespoons of mirin. And for our spices here, we have 2 teaspoons garlic powder, 2 teaspoons ground ginger, and 2 teaspoons salt. And that's it. Pretty easy, huh? So you're going to put in all the ingredients I just showed you. Now we're just going to bring this to a boil and let it boil for about 5 minutes. Be back. Now you're going to want to add your meat. And we're going to get it back to boiling here, and we're going to boil it for another 5 minutes. We want to heat up this meat. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Let's fill up our jars. And we'll be back to put the fluid in. I'll be back when I have this done. Now, if you didn't have quite enough of the teriyaki sauce here, you could add a little chicken broth or a little hot water. Doesn't really matter. Now, you're supposed to leave 1 1/4 quarter headspace, which is a little different than most recipes, because probably the chicken is going to make some of its own broth here. And now we're just going to debubble each of your jars. They're packed pretty tight, though. Now, when you do this, if you find you have some more room, I do have some leftover chicken. I'll show you in a minute here. Okay, that's pretty good. I use white vinegar to wipe the rims because this could have sticky, right, honey on it, or soy sauce, anything like that. So we want to make sure we don't have a false seal because of stickiness. Now, you know I love 4-jar lids, and I'm using them for canning today. And if you'd like to try them, I have a 10% discount code. It's Prepper10. And the link down below so you can purchase your own 4-jar lids. I have never, ever had a bad seal using these lids. I'm just going to put on there. You don't have to preheat your lids in water or anything like that. And now we're just going to finger tighten. Hopefully, there we go. There we go. You don't have to tighten them really tight, okay? There you go. So we'll do all of our jars, and then it'll be time to put them in the canner. Just put all your jars in. Here we've got it, our jars in our canner. And now it's time to put on our lid. All right, you see this? This is your vent hole, and you always want to make sure it's open. So I always test it. I have a little paper clip here, and see? Goes right through to the other side, so I know it's fine. And it's time to screw on your lid. I always do it kind of partially at first, then tighten them up when I get them all on. Now, you can see there's some little specks of water already coming out. We're going to wait until we get a nice stream, and then we're going to time it for 10 minutes. Be back. It's done 10 minutes. I'm putting on the weight. It's 10 pressure weight, but where you live, it might be different, so be sure to check. And we're just going to wait till this gauge gets up to 10, and this starts a jiggling, and then, because they're pints, it's 75 minutes. If they were quarts, we'd have to wait 90 minutes. Well, you can hear it jiggling, you can see it's up to 10, so now we're going to wait 75 minutes. I'm kind of disappointed. There was this much left over, and you know I weighed it for 5 pounds, so I really could have had 6 pints if I had more sauce, but I didn't have the jars heated, and I just decided I'll make this for a couple of days lunch at work overnight. The timer just went off, so I shut off the burner, and now I have to wait until the gauge goes down to 0 before I can take off the weight and take out the jars. Here they are, fresh out of the canner. We're going to wait 24 hours, then we'll take off the rings, and we'll label each one before putting them away. Let's make a quick dinner with our chicken teriyaki. Hear that? Nice pop. That's the way it looks inside. Now we're going to drain out the juice. I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch, and that will thicken it up. You put it on the stovetop. Next, I'm going to turn on my burner. Then put about a tablespoon of oil. And then I'm going to add this broccoli stir-fried. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of water. And we're going to cover it and cook, and that's probably about 8 minutes. Be back. And while that's cooking, just going to thicken the sauce up a little with that cornstarch. We'll let that bring up to a boil, and then it should be ready. Got our veggies on. We're going to add back in our meat.
There's some other sauce that's there.
The chicken looks so dark, doesn't it? Add back all of our sauce. It did thicken up. There's a nice gloss to it. So right now we're just kind of reheating the chicken, and it's almost ready. Mixing the vegetables with a lot of that great teriyaki sauce. Looking so good. Dish this up. Some nice rice there. Nice veggies here. Doesn't that look great? I can't wait to taste it. Now our taste test. That's always my favorite part. Let's just get a little broccoli and sauce. Mmm. Mmm. That sauce is good. Sweet. Mmm. Just perfect. But boy, it's just a little hot yet. Have a little rice with our meat. Well, trying to get that rice back. Here we go. Mmm. Mmm. This is just so good. Now look at this. It's got chicken and veggies and rice. How great is that for a quick supper for your family? It's so filling and it tastes so good. So I hope you try this chicken teriyaki and pressure can it for your pantry shelves. And if you'd like some more pressure canning recipes, watch this.